Hey guys, it's Nick. Thanks for tuning into Long Island Wargaming, and this is a Xwing video featuring the YT-2400, a new ship that's recently out that I got to play with. And I am still a rookie at this game, so I'm still kind of learning the ins and outs, but this is a fun game. It's a 2v2, and I'll get on into it. With the holidays upon me, I do plan on getting a 3x3 X-Wing map, but as of right now, we are just playing on this white table here, and it's going to be a B-Wing, YT-2400, and the Z95. We're playing all generic pilots, so there's no named characters in here. The B-Wing does have 2 torpedoes and munitions failsafe, and the Z95 also has a cluster missile and a munitions failsafe. The YT-2400 has a heavy laser cannon, recon specialist, assault missile, and the title Outrider. This way he could shoot that heavy laser cannon in 360 degrees. For the TIE fighters, we just have academy pilots, and then we have 2 interceptors, which are both Royal Guard pilots, which is pretty cool because I didn't realize these guys are not unique. So they are pilot skill 6, where the Academy pilots are 1, and then all the Rebel ships are 2. So these guys will have a jump on everybody else. And this is a 100-point game. There might be some modifications or upgrades in there along the way that I forgot about, but let's get on into this. So we have a nice tight packed formation here. The Z95 is going to run up and hopefully cluster missile some stuff, and the YT and the B-Wing are on the outside. So our opponents, it's Kyle and myself, and then our opponents are John and Rich. So John is running the TIE Fighters, and this is John's first game, so he's got some nifty stuff going on here, tries some fancy flying, and he goes ahead and banks everybody to the left, so everyone's going away from us, so we'll see what he's up to. And then Rich has the Interceptors, and he's going to go ahead and move them up full 5. Which brings us to the upgrade card that I did forget about is the fact that both these Interceptors have Daredevil, which allows them to make a action right hard one to either the left or right, and they go ahead and do that. The rebel ships move up cautiously, and we go on into round 2 because nobody was in firing range. So you could see that John goes ahead and moves 3 of the ties back towards the rebel ships, so they're banking to the right now. They all make focuses. The one all the way to the far right is just chilling there. He didn't want to hit the interceptors. And the Z95 takes it nice and slow. This way he can target lock and hopefully get a cluster missile in on that cluster of guys. The interceptors now go ahead and move. They both go do a full 5. One of them makes it through and does a daredevil turn to the left, and one of them does not get past, which is fine because then he doesn't hit the asteroid, but there's no action here. So me and Kyle are looking at each other and we're pretty happy because look at this cluster of guys. And I wonder how well the cluster missile will work in this situation. So we go ahead and do a target lock. The gold one is on the B-Wing to one of the ties, and the marked one is from the Z to the same tie. So the interceptors go first. The one that's stuck in between the 2 ties on the top of the screen does get a wound off or a shield off of the YT. And then the YT does return fire and does 2 wounds to the red tie, which is excellent. I did use that focus with my recon specialist. I do have 2 items, 2 focus tokens there, which is awesome. And that 4 dice, since it's a secondary weapon, he does not get a extra defense die, so it was 4 dice versus 3, and I actually got 2 wounds through. So the Z95, he goes ahead and shoots his cluster missile at the tie with the target locks on him, and the cluster missile does not damage, which sucks. We have munitions failsafe, so we don't lose it, but if he had done a wound, he would have done a wound to the red interceptor and the other interceptor and the tie, and possibly the other tie to the left because it's range 1. That would have been golden. That would have been beautiful. It would have killed the interceptor and left a lot of the ties really, really damaged, but didn't work out for us, and in return, the Z95 took 3 damage, so he's on his last hull point. So we got a mess going on here. There are ties all over the place. The YT and one of the ties go ahead and hit each other. We've got some K-turns with some of the interceptors, or with the one interceptor, and that interceptor does get behind, and with 4 tech dice does take out the Z95 without fail. And then in close range, this B-Wing kills this regular TIE fighter. We did not use a torpedo because we figured at this range 4 tac dice should be pretty good, and we go ahead and kill him. Over here, this TIE cannot shoot me, but my YT does use his turret heavy laser cannon to attack that interceptor over there, but I am not able to finish him off. So another round of movement, the YT goes ahead and does a hard bank to the right. This thing is super maneuverable. I think it's absolutely awesome. He's got some really cool turns, some good short ones and some good long ones, and then he can barrel roll, which is great. So I go ahead and target lock that TIE fighter there. because I also have my assault missiles on the YT. And I think this whole time I've been saying cluster missiles. I do mean to say assault missiles. That's the one that has the area of effect if you successfully hit the target. So assault missiles. I apologize about earlier. So the YT's assault missile does go ahead and miss, but this B-wing does kill a TIE fighter over there to the right. So we're knocking these TIEs down left and right. And another round of movement, the YT goes ahead and does forward 4, which is awesome. It's great that it can move that fast because it moves the length of the base and then the actual stick. So he goes right past the ties. He flies over the asteroid. I think he takes a damage from the asteroid, but you know what? He's got 10 hit points altogether. I go ahead and do my focus token. Since I've got the specialist, I got one for attacking and then one for defensive purposes. And this B-wing is nice on top of this TIE fighter. So the B-wing at close range is able to take out the TIE fighter no problem, and then the YT's turret goes ahead and knocks off this interceptor once and for all. So we're entering the late game where we've got fewer ships. You can see the TIE fighter still flying around to the left. John is a rookie, so he's having a hard time controlling the ships and getting them where they need to be, but it is what it is. Do notice though the YT is next to that asteroid, and check out the maneuverability it has when we move into the next slide here. I do a hard 2 to the right and then a barrel roll to jump just a little bit further to stay out of range of the interceptor because I didn't know where he was going because at this point the level 2 or the pilot skill 2 YT goes before the interceptor. So I get out of the way, which is great. The YT turret does no damage to the interceptor over by the asteroid. Over here we've got the TIE fighter and the B-wing. The B-wing evades one of the hits against him. There were 2, and at this point he's down to 1 hull, so that's a little scary. So we go on into the next round of movement, so we don't know what the TIE is going to do. So John's got the TIE, Kyle's got the B-wing. They don't know what they're going to do, so they're trying to each be a little sneaky and clever. So the TIE fighter ends up making a bank to the left, and the B-wing ends up doing a 2K, which leaves each ship with their butts to each other. So there's going to be no exchange of fire here. I made a terrible move in the YT, so I go ahead and do another turn, so I get back into the action here. But I do a barrel roll to get closer into the battle, which was a dumb idea because now when the interceptor comes around, now he's facing me in close range. So I should have done a barrel roll the opposite direction because now I'm also going to crash into a asteroid, and the heavy laser turret is range 2 to 3. So now that he's in close range, I can't shoot at him. So I do shoot at the TIE fighter across the board, and then the B-wing does shoot at the interceptor. A whole bunch of shots are exchanged, getting all ships damaged down to 1 hull. So all 4 ships have 1 hull left, so it's really down to the wire here. So next turn, I do successfully get past the asteroid without taking a hit, because that would have killed me. I do use my recon specialist to get 2 tokens, so this should be helpful, but you can see the interceptor and the B-wing are right on top of each other. We do a target lock, because I think we've got a torpedo left to burn, but unfortunately the interceptor is going to go first, leaving the B-wing no chance of survival. The heavy laser turret, or cannon I should say, goes ahead and kills this TIE fighter, so we're now down to the YT and the interceptor. And you can see that we're both pretty close to each other. I go ahead and do I think a bank 3 to the right, because I want to just get some distance. I don't know what he's going to do. So I do the bank, and then I do a barrel roll, because I don't want him to get too close, because if he's at range 1, I can't fire at him at all. So I get some distance, but he goes ahead and moves forward 2, because that was his best decision, Rich, because he would have more options if he barely moves up and then boosts to get the direction he needs. And he does do that. He boosts to the right, and there he goes. So he takes his shots at me before I'm able to use my turret, and bam. The YT is down, and he's the victor. So this is a win to John and Rich, and a loss to Kyle and myself. So that was the YT-2400. It's definitely fun. This is my second time using the ship. It's really, really cool. I did use Dash Rendar in a build with him that I'll post, which I think was pretty fun. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.